The flat that Black had the fizz of an accident bodies already knew would be unpredictable. Stephen Colbert's writers had formed over time on the monologue, and the producers were about bemused at the affirmed fasten in ratings. Trump's actualization had been absorbed for a week, and every bench in the admirers was filled. Unlike the accepted atmosphere of animated ball and acquisitive fans, there was the apparent bisect in the crowd. Some had appear accessible to cheer, others to jeer, and abounding were aloof there to attestant whatever anarchy ability unfold. Trump's access was orchestrated in the way alone he admired it, big, loud, and commanding. The announcer's articulation boomed his name, and as he stepped into the lights, he blood-soaked in the alloyed acknowledgement afterwards, flinching. Supporters animated loudly, aggravating to asphyxiate out the oral groans, while Trump gave his accustomed beachcomber a nod, striding against Colbert's desk. He projected the aforementioned aplomb that had agitated him through rallies and debates, but his eyes confused quickly, scanning the room, calculating. Colbert rose to accost him, his smile practiced but his eyes sharp. The handshake amid the two was abrupt but telling, firm, about staged for the cameras, yet defective any warmth. Colbert gestured against the bedfellow armchair with a flourish, and Trump sat down. Aptitude back, legs hardly apart, amateur squared, he looked at Colbert like a man dispatched into adversary territory. Yet, assertive, he could angle the ambiance to his will. The audience, analysis the electricity amid them, quieted down. Cameras zoomed in afterpiece than usual, acquisitive to bolt every smirk, every aloft eyebrow. Cola confused his cards but didn't attending at them. He was already bound in. Trump adapted his microphone, straightened his tie, and smirked as admitting adventuresome Colbert to alpha something. Anybody watching in the flat and at home knew this wasn't activity to be a safe, backward nightball interview. This was about to become an action bearded as conversation. Cola began the chat with the appearance of politeness, alms Trump a bendable opener about his latest accessible appearances. Trump leaned forward, animated broadly, giving the affectionate of apposite acknowledgement that drew acclaim from his supporters. For a moment it seemed as if this accountability break civil, but Kalula's aspect said otherwise. He was cat and mouse for his chance. The moment came quickly. Kula sat bottomward his agenda cards, bankrupt his hands, and asked with that deliberate arch smile, "Mr. Trump, you've been accused abounding times of angle the truth. Do you see yourself as a man who tells it like it is, or as a man who tells it how he wants it to be?" The admirers gave an audible, "Ooh," the affectionate of acknowledgement backward night admirers alive for. Trump chuckled, afraid his head. "Stephen, the accuracy is the truth. The botheration is bodies like you, the affected news, a G aggregate, I say." His accent acicular on the words affected news, and the army reacted with a mix of amusement and boo. Colbert, quick as ever, a G his arch and attempt back, "If I'm affected news, again you're voluntarily sitting in the average of it appropriate now." The admirers roared with applause. Trump's smile faltered for the aboriginal time. From there, the activity shifted. Colbert apprenticed harder, affairs out specific quotes, actuality checks, and headlines. Trump countered with across-the-board denials, talking over Colbert at times, aptitude in with the force of a man acclimated to assertive the stage. The aback and alternating was beneath an account than an action match. Colbert throwing jabs of wit and acicular questions, Trump countering with bluff and deflection. The admirers became allotment of the theater. Cheers erupted aback, Kalula landed a aciculate punchline, while murmurs of abutment alike aback Trump, aloft his articulation in defense. The astriction grew added with anniversary exchange, and admitting both men were smiling, neither smile acquainted genuine. It was no best entertainment. It was a action for ascendancy of the room, and neither advised to lose. The action escalated until the air in the flat acquainted charged, as admitting every chatability burn article bigger. Colbert, analysis the momentum, leaned in closer, his articulation calm, but belted like a knife. "Mr. Trump, you've congenital a career on adding people, calling the media enemies, painting opponents as villains. Do you any time stop and anticipate about the accident that does to this country?" The catechism landed heavy. The audience, which had been bedlam and acclamation moments before, fell into a close hush. Trump's announcement confused instantly. The smile vanished and his jaw tightened. He broke the board with his finger, leaned forward, and attempted back. "Stephen, I adulation this country added than you could any time imagine. What divides America isn't me. It's bodies like you application ball to advance lies and abhorrence every distinct night. You're the problem." His articulation was louder now, the affectionate of force he usually aloof for rallies. The army reacted in a wave, bisected gasping, bisected applauding. Some booed loudly, others cheered, but the babble alone added fuel. Colbert didn't flinch. He waited for the barrage to subside, again said with icy precision, "I ask questions. You accord answers. If bodies don't like the answers, that's not on me." The admirers exploded with applause, continuing in pockets about the studio. Trump's face darkened. He befuddled his head, blubbering into the microphone. Pathetic show. Total decay of time. He accomplished down, unclipped his mic, and stood up. The movement was so abrupt the cameras struggled to follow, communicable awkward angles as he adapted his anorak and stormed against the wings. The admirers was stunned, again erupted. Some cheered, some booed, but anybody was on their feet. Colbert remained seated, eyebrows raised, aperture coiled in a bisected smile. Easily continued advanced as if to say, "Well, what did you expect?" The walk-off had become the show's climax, added able than any scripted joke. With an account of Trump vanishing abaft the curtain, the flat was a agitate of babble and disbelief. Admirers associates aside to one another, phones attempt up to abduction reactions, and Colbert, anytime the showman, angry the anarchy into comedy. He leaned aback in his chair, adapted his tie, and with a sly beam remarked, "Well, I've had guests leave before, but usually alone aback I acquaint them the account is over." The band brought the abode down. Amusement and acclaim affrayed the rafters. Backstage, Trump's aggregation scrambled. His aides trailed afterwards him, aggravating to allure him to calm down, but he was already barking orders. "We're leaving. Decay of time. They'll circuit it anyway." Cameras bent glimpses of his associates active bottomward the hallway, active ducked as producers approved abominably to argue him to return. By then, the moment had already become history in the making. Aback the advertisement aired after that night, clips of the affecting Avenue advanced like wildfire. Social media exploded. Timelines abounding with ability of Trump continuing up of Colbert's deadpan acknowledgement of the abashed audience. Supporters of Trump affected the walk-off as the adventurous abnegation to be mocked, praising him for not arena forth with advanced ambushes. Critics, meanwhile, acclaimed Colbert's calm accord and aciculate lines, calling the adventure affidavit that Trump couldn't handle boxy questions. By the afterward morning, the adventure was everywhere. Account on above networks, segments on battling backward night shows, amaranthine memes online. Colbert opened his abutting appearance with a smirk, saying, "Last night, Donald Trump fabricated a quick exit. Honestly, it was the best exercise he's had in months." The army roared, cementing the moment as backward night legend. For Trump, the walk-off became addition action blister in his continued war with the media. One he spun into attack talking points. For Kula, it was a career-defining highlight, the night he stood toe-to-toe with one of the best polarizing abstracts in avant-garde backroom and didn't blink.